Every personal finance guru tells you the same thing. Be more disciplined and budget harder.
But here's what they're missing. Up to 45% of your daily behaviors aren't decisions at all. They're habits, automated patterns your brain runs completely on autopilot, according to Duke University research.
The people who've built serious wealth aren't more disciplined than you codes. They've automated the boring stuff. Money accumulates while they're living their lives, crews, because automatic habits do the heavy lifting for them. These 15 habits aren't exciting, they won't look good on Instagram, and that's exactly why they work. Habit 1. Eating the same meals every week to eliminate food decision fatigue completely. Cornell University research found the average person makes over 200 food-related decisions every single day. What's for breakfast? Pack lunch or skip it? DoorDash tonight. Every decision burns real mental energy. When you rotate 4 or 5 recipes weekly, your brain stops treating meals as decisions at all.
Your grocery list becomes identical each week. Food waste drops, and you stop spending on takeout impulsively.
Boring meals equal predictable spending, and predictable spending is the foundation of financial stability. Habit 2. Emptying your fridge completely before restocking it with anything new from the store. The average American family throws away about $1,500 worth of food every single year unnecessarily. Not because they're wasteful people, linemen, but because they shop without seeing what they already have. Behavioral economists call this the abundance mindset illusion. Empty shelf space reads as need to your brain. The fix is simple. Eat everything down before restocking. Even that frozen mystery meat in the back. Your brain gets a dopamine hit from finishing things, the same reward pathway as buying something new. Except finishing what you have is completely free. It costs you nothing and saves you real money. Habit 3. Buying fresh instead of bulk, at least for most perishable items you regularly purchase. Buying in bulk works well for toilet paper, laundry detergent, and canned goods. Absolutely no problem there. But for perishables, research from the Journal of Consumer Research shows we consistently overestimate how much we'll consume. You buy 8 avocados, imagining a future version of yourself who eats them all before they spoil. Your real self throws out 5 of them, wasting money on food that never got eaten at all. Buying fresh forces honesty about your actual consumption patterns rather than your aspirational ones going forward. Scarcity of buying less makes you value what you have more pedants, and you can always return to the store. Habit 4. Making coffee at home lightly, but actually making it special and enjoyable every single morning. Most money advice says cut the $6 latte though, save $2,000 a year. Technically correct, psychologically terrible. Harvard research found that eliminating small daily pleasures without replacing them leads to deprivation, backlash, and overspending.
Your brain feels punished and compensates by overspending elsewhere. So don't eliminate the ritual, just relocate it.
Get good beans, enjoy the pour-over process, and save cafe visits for genuinely intentional occasions and meetings. Autopilot coffee at 7 a.m. doesn't need to cost $6, but intentional coffee absolutely can and should.
Habit 5. Never shopping just to kill time. Browsing activates the same brain reward pathways as buying.
Stanford research found that browsing without any intention to buy still gives your brain a real dopamine hit. The more you activate that reward pathway, the harder it becomes to walk away from the store empty-handed. Shopping to cure boredom trains your brain that consumption is the only solution to having empty time. The fix isn't willpower, it's substitution. Find something slightly challenging, slightly rewarding, and completely free to do. Working out, making something, going for a walk,
Dote. Your brain needs something else to do entirely.
Habit 6. Deleting shopping apps from your phone, because friction between you and a purchase saves real money. When Amazon is 2 taps away and payment details are already saved, you will buy things you shouldn't.
Research on impulse purchasing shows that adding steps to a transaction dramatically reduces the completion rate every time.
Delete the apps. Log out of shopping sites. Put your card somewhere physically inconvenient to reach quickly. You're not blocking yourself permanently, Casente. You're buying time for the impulse to dissolve naturally on its own. Most purchases you don't make within 48 hours, you won't even miss Bulbri. They simply disappear from your mind. Habit 7. Living a boring, structured routine down. Because structure dramatically reduces impulsive decisions across all life categories. Wharton School research found that people with highly structured routines make far fewer impulsive decisions, including spending.
The reason is decision fatigue. When your day is unstructured, you're constantly deciding what to do next.
And exhausted brains solve problems by throwing money at them faster. Structure prevents that expensive default response. A boring routine also creates blinders. You're not scrolling other people's highlight reels wondering if you're living wrong. You're just moving toward your goals, steady and predictable. Adventures are planned. Expenses are intentional. Day-to-day is boring. Habit 8. Simplifying your skincare and beauty routine. Because the beauty industry engineered complexity to sell more products. Research calls this the complexity bias. Your brain assumes complicated solutions work better than simple ones always do.
So you buy the serum, the essence, the treatment, and the tool preview. Your bathroom shelf overflows with purchases.
Studies on habit formation show that the more steps a behavior requires, the less likely you are to maintain it. A 10-step routine survives 2 weeks before you start skipping steps, leaving expensive products gathering dust unused.
4 or 5 products used consistently every day beats a 15-step routine used only sporadically and inconsistently.
Simplicity isn't a compromise in your skincare routine. It's actually a full performance upgrade that saves you money.
Habit 9. Wearing your clothes dope. Actually wearing them, not letting them sit unused in your closet. Research found most people experience wardrobe fatigue from psychological pressure to appear novel to others around them. But studies show most people genuinely don't remember what you wore last week, so nobody is tracking your outfits. The real calculation is cost per wear. A $200 jacket worn 40 times costs just $5 per wear. A $40 impulse buy worn just twice costs $20 per wear. 4 times more than the expensive jacket.
The expensive thing is often the cheaper thing when you calculate cost per wear over time across many uses.
Wearing what you own teaches you what actually works for your life, making you a smarter future shopper.
Habit 10. Waiting 72 hours before making any non-essential purchase for us, because impulse fades faster than you think.
Most impulse purchases feel urgent in the moment, but feel completely arbitrary just 3 days later. That's not a character flaw, that's dopamine. The anticipation of buying triggers almost the same reward as the purchase. The feeling of wanting something fades naturally if you simply don't act on it immediately, bro. Time does the work.
Add it to a list. Set a reminder. Come back in 3 days. If you still want it, buy it guilt-free. What you'll find is that most of the list evaporates on its own, without any willpower required from you.
Habit 11. Budgeting daily, but just for information, not to restrict or punish yourself at all. University of Cambridge research found that people who track spending daily develop something called expenditure awareness. Your brain starts recognizing patterns you couldn't see before. You spend more when stressed, for example. You realize Tuesdays are weirdly expensive, or that your grocery bill spikes every time you skip meal planning. Budgeting isn't restriction, it's information. That reframe changes everything about how you relate to tracking your money.
Journal of Consumer Psychology research found that tracking spending without pressure to cut back naturally reduces it by 15%. Not because they were trying, but because awareness changes behavior automatically, all on its own, without any effort. 3 minutes before bed, handwrite. Log what you spelt, then move on. That's the entire habit in practice. Habit 12. Paying yourself first before every single other expense, automatically the same day your paycheck arrives. Harvard research found that people consistently spend up to their available funds after covering their fixed expenses every month. Give yourself $600 of discretionary room, and you will find a way to spend every single dollar of it. The solution? Remove the money before your brain knows it's available by automating a transfer on payday. You never see it in your checking account flurries. Your brain adapts to living on what remains without feeling deprived. Stanford research found people who automated savings reported the same life satisfaction as those who simply earned more money. The wealth builds while your spending psychology never even registers the loss. It's rigged. That's the brilliance of automation. Habit 13. Cooking in batches on 1 day per week to eliminate the weeknight dinner decision entirely. Decision fatigue is cumulative. By 6 p.m. on a Tuesday after a full workday, cooking feels enormous. And enormous decisions default to takeout. Batch cooking removes that decision completely before it even has a chance. Pick one day. Sunday works for most. Cook large portions of 2 or 3 things: proteins, grains, vegetables. The rest of the week you're assembling, not cooking. And the mental energy you preserve is genuinely real. The cost difference between batch-cooked meals and midweek delivery adds up to hundreds of dollars monthly for most households. Habit 14. Doing a monthly subscription audit. Because most people are paying for 3 to 5 forgotten subscriptions. They're not scams. They're things you signed up for, used briefly, then ignored while charges quietly continued automatically. Once a month, pull your bank statement and look at every single recurring charge without judgment or excuses. Not to cancel everything, but to make conscious decisions about each service you're currently paying for monthly. If you're keeping it out of vague intention to use it eventually, cancel it where that intention rarely materializes. The habit isn't deprivation. It's maintaining awareness of where your money flows on autopilot without your permission. Habit 15. Reframing treat-yourself culture away from spending chronons, because consumption and self-care aren't the same thing. Treat-yourself culture has successfully equated self-care with consumption. Stressed? Buy something. Burned out? Spend on something nice. But research on hedonic adaptation shows purchase treats lose their effect quickly. You need bigger spending hits for the same result. The habit is building a personal menu of non-spending treats that actually restore you mentally and emotionally. Long walks, baths, calling someone you love, reading something absorbing, cooking something elaborate, all genuinely restorative and free. These don't hit as fast as buying something to skate, but they don't create a spending reflex either. They don't wear off the same way. And they don't require a financial transaction every single time you need relief. Your brain learns over time that relief doesn't require a transaction, and that's one of the most powerful rewires possible.
None of these 15 habits are exciting. None of them require willpower now, and that's the whole point here.
They all work through the same core mechanism, reducing the number of decisions your brain has to make daily.
They replace spending reflexes with something else and automate the boring stuff so wealth builds quietly in the background. You're not broken if saving feels hard. You're just fighting your brain's natural wiring instead of working with it. Pick one habit. Make it automatic. Then add another matze. That's the entire system working exactly as intended. Boring is where your money grows daily. And now you have 15 habits to prove it starting today.